welcome back to my channel. My name is Baylee and this is Bagels Books. Today we're going to be doing a very long overdue April wrap-up. April feels like so long ago now. My mom came to visit, so I didn't film while she was here, and then the day she left town, I got super sick. I was sick for 2 weeks. I am just now starting to feel like 100% myself. I still have a little bit of a cough, but other than that, I feel a lot better. But I was on my deathbed for a minute there. So that is why it's been forever since I have filmed. So in April, I read 7 books, which isn't a whole lot compared to a lot of people, but that's, at least this year, that's like the most I've read in a month was 7. I did it in February as well. 7 whole freaking books. My average rating was 3.7 stars, so it was a pretty good reading month. I had 2 5 stars, 2 4 stars, 2 3 stars, and 1 2-star book, which I think is really good. No 1 stars and no DNFs. First book? Nope, that's incorrect. Other way, Baylee. I almost spoiled you for May. The first book I read in April was It Happened One Summer. This book is by Tessa Baylee. It is a romance book that's supposed to emulate, is that her name? Alexis from Schitt's Creek. That is who the main girl is based off of. And she is this really rich girl living in, I want to say, LA. She gets in a lot of trouble, so her stepdad sends her back to her hometown to this like tiny apartment and was like, you're gonna make your own money and you're gonna do something with yourself for like X amount of time and then you can come back home. She meets a guy there, very steamy romance. It was very cute. I really enjoyed the male main character. I didn't love the female main character just because she was super snobby in the beginning and somewhat at the end. But the main male character was so sweet and amazing, and it doesn't happen a lot, I feel like, in romances where men are the one, like, at least not any that I've read. They're like falling first, falling harder, and they're the ones like convincing the girl, like, hey, this relationship is something, this is something that can work. So I really loved the male main character for that, and he was just really sweet. So I gave that book 5 stars. And then the next one I read was for the book club I had with my friends. We read Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. Everyone talks about this book. It is a cozy fantasy, not romance, cozy fantasy book about this orc. She has decided to stop going on all these adventures and doing all these jobs and settling down in a town, and she opens a coffee shop. She gets a worker, she gets a baker, and it just like slowly shows her building it, getting these employees, making something of this little coffee shop in this town, and it's just kind of like a wholesome book, which is why everyone loves it. I gave it 3 stars just because like it was good, but it wasn't like mind-blowing to me. It wasn't mind-blowing, it wasn't, I don't know, I just didn't feel super attached to it. I wanted more to happen, I guess. In this new town she was at, I don't want to call them a mob, but kind of. They kept knocking on her door, like asking for money, so there was a little bit of trouble she was having in the town, and something does happen. So there was a little bit of, I literally can't think of a word for the words I'm trying to say. No, I want to say turmoil, but that seems a little dramatic, but that's the only word I can think of. It was good, but just not my favorite. There's a prequel coming out. I don't know if I'll read it. We'll see, but it was a good book, not my favorite. 3 stars. The next book I read was for Jordan's book club, Court of Fables. It is a bi-monthly fantasy book club. So this year, I said earlier in the year that I'm trying to read more fantasy books. So I'm trying to read her every other month fantasy book for her book club. I read this one late because it was March's book club pick and I didn't finish it until April. So this one is Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. I gave this book 4 stars. This one was about a girl. She grew up in this library, and it's like these magical books, and these books can come to life. And at the beginning of the book, these certain kind of bad books that they have locked away come to life, and they escape the library and start killing people, and it's this whole kind of mystery of who is making these books do this, and you know, what is their end goal. There is a little bit of a romance in it, you know, there's not a good book without romance. It just is what it is. It's in every book. It is what it is. But I did really love the magic system of this book. I love the library aspect. I did enjoy the romance aspect. It was very cute. Really liked it. I gave it 4 stars. The next book I read was Indelible by Karin, which is in the Grant County series. I want to say it's the 4th one. I think I'm on the 4th one now. So I loved this one. I gave it 4 stars. 3rd one wasn't my favorite. I think that's been my least favorite one. So I was really happy with this one. It is dual timeline, which I really enjoyed. So the very beginning is at the precinct. You know, we're following classic Chief Tolliver and Cerra Linton, who is the medical examiner / pediatrician of this town. So it starts with them meeting at the police station in the town, and then these 2 gunmen come in and like hold the place hostage, and they're looking specifically for Jeffrey, and they want revenge on Jeffrey for something we have obviously don't figure out till the end. But it's dual timeline of the beginning of Jeffrey and Sarah's relationship, and the first time they went out of town together, the first time she met his mom and his childhood friends, like them going to his hometown. So it goes back and forth, back and forth. There's a reason. It all connects, obviously. But it was very cute. I liked their beginning of their relationship. Like, that was the cute part. Not anything really that happened in the town, town-wise. But seeing their beginning of their relationship, because when we start the series, they're divorced. So you know they've been married in the past, but you don't really get anything other than he cheated on her, and they're divorced now, and they have to work together. So it was nice to see the beginning of their relationship and kind of where, the foundation of it. But I really, really liked how it tied the past and the present together. Loved it. I need to read the next one. I'm sad to finish the series because I just love Cerra Linton. But I'm pretty sure she comes back in the Will Trent series that Karin did. So when I start that series, at least I'll get a little bit more of Cerra Linton. The next book I read was Weyward by Emilia Hart. So I drew a card last month to read a most recent release, and I chose Weyward to read. And I did vlog me reading this, so there's a lot of my thoughts in my previous video, so I won't talk too much about this one, but this was a 5-star book for me as well. Loved it. I did tab some. I already want to reread it. It was just so beautiful. It just is about women, is literally it. A lot of trigger warnings, pretty much anything horrific you can think of to happen to a woman in the freaking 1600s, 1940s, and then present day happens. So just keep that in mind. If you don't want to read about those things, don't pick this one up. But it is, I don't know, I just loved it so much. So beautiful. You know that meme from Little Women where Joe is like, women? That is I think of this book when I see that meme. I don't know why. It's just, this whole book is about women, and I love it. I loved it so much. So glad I picked it up. The next book I read, which was also in that vlog, was Such Pretty Flowers by K.L. Cerra. This book, once again, I talked about in that vlog a lot. I gave this one 2 stars. I did not love this one. It was in the thriller section, which it kind of is, but I think it's more of a gothic horror book, and I just didn't find it very thrilling. I didn't want to keep picking it up. It's about our main character, Holly. She gets a text message from her brother. Her brother, who is get it out of me. That is what he sent her in a message. And she's out with her friend, so she doesn't see it until the next day. Also in that message, which is not in the blurb, he's like, hey, my girlfriend wants to do this really weird thing. Just so you know, we're going here. I just wanted to let you know because I'm a little concerned. So the next morning, she wakes up to her parents calling that her brother has died, has taken his own life, but she has those previous messages and she doesn't believe that's what happened. She thinks something fishy is with the girlfriend. So this is pretty much her trying to investigate herself pretty much, because her brother does deal with some mental health issues, so the police kind of shoot off those messages as in, oh, he just, that was because of his mental health issues. That's why he took his own life. we're not investigating anymore. So this whole book is her investigating, and you do find out what happens. Obviously, that'd be a terrible book. It's just, I didn't love it. It wasn't thrilling. I didn't really care by the end what was happening or what was going on with their girlfriend. And what was going on with the girlfriend was just completely wackadoodle. I just didn't, by the end, I did not care anymore whatsoever. There's that one. And the last book I read was It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover. I read It Ends With Us a few months ago, and so I figured I would finish it off. Since the movie is being filmed now, I want to make sure I got them both in before the movie. I watched the movie. This one starts exactly where It Ends With Us ends, thankfully. It's a lot about Atlas and Lily and Atlas's relationship and how they start having, It even goes into Atlas's childhood and just his whole backstory, which I enjoyed. I enjoyed the Atlas parts of this book. I did not care about the Lily parts of this book anymore. I just didn't care about her. I don't know. I found her annoying in this one, to be honest. I just really wanted to know about Atlas. So that's why I kept reading it. So I gave it 3 stars because I only really cared about half the book, pretty much. It was decent. Did it need to happen? Probably not. But that's okay. It was nice to see where her and Atlas's relationship went. Really is all. Which I'm sure is why people were begging for a sequel, is to see what happened. Which we got, which was nice. But other than that, didn't really care for it. So those were all the books I read in April. Feels like so long ago I read those books. My favorite book I read in April was Weyward. My most surprising book I read in April was Sorcery of Thorns. Just because I'm not a huge fantasy person, I was really hesitant, but I was shocked by how much I really loved that book. And the biggest disappointment was Such Pretty Flowers. That book came out this year. It was something I was really excited about. I went to the freaking Barnes & Noble and bought it, like right after it came out. Should have known when it was on the buy one, get one half table. I should have known. So that was my biggest disappointment for sure. Such a letdown. Yeah. Let us draw the next card for May. What book I have to read for May. This one says, read a book you are most excited to read. That one shouldn't be hard. I feel like every book I'm really excited to read, so I will let you know what book I choose for that prompt in my May wrap up. Let me know what your favorite book was that you read in April and your biggest disappointment in April in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.